have an Eric the Eel hero from these London Olympics in the shape of a bloke from Niger, where the per capita income is $700 a year. They've got a rower, Hamadou Jibo Isaka. He's 35. A rower. But Niger is landlocked. No water anywhere near it. How you find a rower, let alone somewhere to row, you may not know.
Alan Jones obviously doesn't know that the nation of Niger, more often pronounced Niger, is named after the Niger River, the biggest in West Africa. It flows right through the capital, Niamey, and it's a pretty sizable stream. Hamadou Isaka may have had all sorts of problems, getting hold of a decent boat and a coach for starters, but finding a bit of water to row on wouldn't have been one of them. Welcome to Media Watch, I'm Jonathan Holmes. Alan Jones's wonky geography gets a bronze this week. The silver goes to David Oldfield's wonky maths. Oldfield has his own problems, filling 4 hours every evening on struggling Sydney talkback radio station 2UE being the main one, which must be why he latched on to this media release.
The University of New South Wales Student Representative Council, SRC, has voted to approve a $1.2 million bid for the Sydney monorail, should the state government place it for auction after its deconstruction.
The Sydney monorail is a folly conceived by the Rann government way back in the 1980s to carry eager tourists to its new Darling Harbour development. It's proved a costly white elephant and is now due for sale or demolition. The Uni of New South Wales students' imaginative bid was announced on the Thursday before last. And David Oldfield wasn't the first to take an interest. ABC News Radio gave the story a run.
But now students at the University of New South Wales say they're prepared to bid $1.2 million for the structure.
And so did the Sydney version of News Limited's freebie paper, MX.
Mono, do.
University of New South Wales students will make a serious bid to buy Sydney's monorail because they are tired of walking around their campus.
Both MX and the ABC checked the story out and got convincing quotes from the president of the SRC, one Tim Caliander. But Tim was being naughty. In fact, he was lying. The release was a Foundation Day prank, as UNSW student paper Tharunka revealed on its website that Sunday.
Monorail hoax catches students and media.
A quick internet search any time on Monday would have turned that article up. But that morning, Mr. Caliander received a call from a 2UE producer, and he decided to play along again. That evening, David Oldfield aired a pre-recorded interview with Terrible Tim.
Our campus is expanding across all corners, and I think we need to have a proper and serious conversation about how to get students from class to class without being late all the time.
What sort of distances? What are we talking, 300, 400, 500, 600 metres to get sort of backwards and forwards between different classes?
It'd probably be in excess of a kilometre.
The interview didn't last long, but over the course of the evening, with the help of the occasional listener, poor old David banged on about the lazy students of UNSW and their monorail for no less than 35 minutes. And then he got stuck into their maths. Uh-oh. We presume that David's producer checked the university's website and found this.
The main UNSW campus is located on a 38-hectare site at Kensington.
Which made Mr. Oldfield very sad.
It really worries me, this centre of learning, and they can't add up. The whole site is, it's not going to be a perfect square, but the whole site is approximately 380 metres by 380 metres. So, if you're going to cross from one side to the other, it's a 380 metre walk. It's nowhere near as big as they think it is.
It really worries me when talkback hosts try to do sums on the run. David, 1 hectare measures 100 metres by 100 metres. That doesn't mean that 38 hectares is 380 metres by 380 metres. Here's a square kilometre divided into hectares. That's 10 hectares, 20, 30, 38 hectares. If it's 400 metres from north to south, it would be 1 kilometre from east to west. And that, as it happens, is close to the shape of the main campus at the University of New South Wales. Which doesn't mean the students need a monorail. It does mean that David Oldfield needs some maths lessons, as well as a better nose for those hoary hoaxes he keeps getting taken in by. As the editor of MX delicately told MediaWatch,
MX now has a new inbox for SRC media releases. It's cylindrical, lined with plastic, sits on the floor and is checked and emptied each day.
you should get one of those too, David. And while we're on the subject of hoaxes, Fairfax Media's Port Macquarie News has fallen for a stinker. But first, a reminder. This is the logo of the London Olympic Games. If you squint hard enough, you'll see that the weird-shaped blobs actually spell out the figures 2012. Now, we seldom use rude words on this programme, but as it happens, the stars of the ABC's Gruen Sweat had a little tiff about that logo just last week. Todd hates it, Russell loves it.
It's very, very difficult to do something that cuts through, that's noticeable, that will forever be attributed to these games.
Yeah,
and
but
that's exactly...
rather it not be shit.
Well, Todd Sampson said it, not me, but others have had the same thought. You don't have to search long on the internet to find that some smart aleck has turned this into this. And so to Port Macquarie on the New South Wales mid-north coast, hometown of the bloke we all expected to be the golden boy of the games, swimmer James Magnuson. Naturally, the local hero has received massive attention in the Port Macquarie News. And on the day of the opening ceremony, he figured on the masthead. Oh dear. The Port News' editor, Gordon Weigold, has fallen on his sword.
The staff member downloading the logo innocently assumed it was an official image. Mine was one of the sets of eyes that ran over that masthead, and I take full responsibility.
Well, I think we should take the mistake as a comment on the quality of the logo, not on that of the estimable Port Macquarie News. And now, time for a little ad break. The old British rockers Status Quo were recruited by Coles to reversion their 1970s hit Down Down. During the finale of MasterChef, the Coles version ran for 3 minutes. No one could be in any doubt that that was an ad paid for by Coles. But what about this?
WSFM for Coles Supermarket. Here's Status Quo and Down Down.
After playing the entire song, the Coles version, all 3 minutes 40 seconds of it, Ronnie Sparks on WSFM in Sydney came back with this.
Now, who would have thought a supermarket advertising campaign would bring such a great classic hit back, huh? Status Quo. That's right, they've re-recorded the original Down Down Coles style. Now, if you enjoyed that, let us know at the website. Let us know at the website, because I'd be keen to play it again once or twice.
Over on Gold 104.3 in Melbourne, same day, around the same time, and with no introduction at all. Again, the whole song was played as if it were just any other classic hit, and Craig Huggins back announced,
Good times, a great classic hits, Gold 104.3. Do you think Coles could be the first supermarket to make it onto the charts? Possibly with that track. Coles and Status Quo have teamed up and re-recorded that classic hit Down Down. Maybe a Grammy Award awaits them. It's 3 to 11 at Gold 104.3.
And same day, same time, Nick Michaels gave the song a play on Brisbane's 4KQ, this time with an intro.
Good times, great classic hits 4KQ. Now remember the TV ad for Coles featuring the song Down Down? Well, Coles have actually asked Status Quo to re-record the song. And so here it is, Status Quo's Down Down, thanks to Coles.
Don't think you need to hear more. All 3 stations are part of ARN, the Australian Radio Network. And the question is, were those ads or weren't they? I'm really not sure. Are you? But according to a broadcasting standard that was revised by the Australian Communications and Media Authority as recently as March this year, we should be sure.
Advertisements must be presented in such a manner that the reasonable listener is able to distinguish them at the time of broadcast from other program material.
So we asked ARN, was it paid to play the songs? And they replied, yes.
It is a paid advertisement for Coles.
And, says ARN, it complied with the standard because of announcements that
clearly identify the song with the Coles Down Down campaign.
Well, yes, but they didn't clearly tell us it was a paid ad. And anyway, on another station, Cruise 1323 in Adelaide, Down Down was played without any announcement before or after the song. Oh, yes, said ARN.
We are aware of an occasion where the presenter inadvertently forgot to identify the song as an ad and have taken the appropriate action to address.
Ah, so that's all right then. Down, down, down he goes. Of course, if you have the buying power of Coles and Woolies, media companies are happy to indulge your every whim, whether that's by playing 4-minute songs on radio that are actually ads, or by not running 1-minute ads on the telly.
That's $42, thanks. Would you like to double or nothing?
Excuse me?
This ad by the activist group Get Up, about the thousands of poker machines owned by Coles and Woolworths, was rejected by every commercial TV network.
Your house.
I thought you were a supermarket. I just wanted to buy some food to feed my family.
Hey, we're in the pokies business. Didn't you know that?
Only one, Network 10, gave any kind of reason in writing to Get Up's media buyers for the ad's rejection, and even that was vague.
The legal team did mention that there is potential trademark infringements.
In other words, this...
The pokies people. Play every day.
Looked too much like this.
Woolworths, the fresh food people.
It's amazing how strictly the rules can be applied when you need them, and how loosely when you don't. We've no evidence, I should add, that either Coles or Woolworths were consulted about the Get Up ads by any TV network. Well, no need to, really. And last tonight, we couldn't let another week go by without mentioning our sadly neglected friends in the top end. For a while now, we've been noticing plaintive tweets from...
The NT News. Another Monday, another media watch without a mention. Sigh.
Well, this Monday, we just had to bring to your attention this classic front page.
Why, I stuck a cracker up my clacker.
Don't be deceived, the snake has nothing whatever to do with the story, which starts on page 2 with the immortal lead.
A man who suffered serious burns when friends lit a firecracker in his bum says he was just showing his visiting mates a territory good time.
And that, mates, is territory good journalism. Pure gold. Until next week, good night.